Darklords, and we've got Morgan on the bottom with a cool tune Elfnote strategy. Starting off with the draw for turn, we will find out which of these duelists will be going first.
We do see a card in Rio's hand that we thought was also pretty interesting, which is Final Bringer of the End of Times.
Yeah.
Which is it's a pretty versatile card that allows you to destroy a card you control and a card your opponent controls. So you can use it to dodge like cards like Infinite Impermanence, but you can also use it as like a defense on your opponent's turn, just destroy a card you control. But let's see how Rio starts up here. We've seen this card a lot.
So this is the best starter for the Darklord strategy, being the Jehuti. Interesting that Morgan is going to be reading this. I think this always works into Rio's favor on that one, because when you're reading a card you're not fully familiar with, but then I would not be surprised if Rio does the exact same to some of the cards that Morgan starts to play during their turn as well.
Yeah, I do think Rio's deck is less known because Darklord is newer to the Genesys environment, right? Compared to...
I mean, like, both of them got the support in Burst Protocol. The cool tunes are a little bit more known.
Oh, yeah, I get the Q tune inside of it. Yeah,
but
it's an Elfnote deck.
Yeah, leans more on the Elfnotes, could still give you that surprise factor. But we're just going to be seeing a direct access going into the Indulged Darklord, giving Morgan the Golglet, and then also being able to search ourselves out the Ixchil. I still think this is quite interesting, unless I am wrong, and I'm waiting for someone to tell me.
We might have missed it again.
I'm always amazed that the Golglet does not spawn the tokens, and I don't know if that's because the opponent isn't like checking up on the card they're being given. They're just being trusted that the card's being given to them.
They need to be aware because it is not a mandatory effect on Googleat.
Yeah.
So I believe Googleat would be able to trigger here.
Yeah.
But the thing is Darklord Dance only one card your opponent controls, or is it multiple? Because there might be a chance that even if you give them multiple tokens, they just get...
Oh, you'd still get rid of them in a sense if that's the case. So, if someone had a Darklord Fusion Monster this way, you can also use Darklord Monsters. So technically you could use all three. But even then, if you're not going to use all... For when you're trying to go for Even Star, you're only going to be able to use two. So you'd use the Golglet and you use one token. So I suppose, it would actually be quite detrimental. I'm surprised we didn't put the Golglet in the center... Well, maybe in game 2 and 3, we'll see the Golglet go into the center monster zone on that one.
Ooh, we do see a Ghost Bell here being activated on the Darklord Dance.
Very strong.
The thing is with Darklord Dance, if there is a way to summon a Darklord monster like a Nasten, we're going to be able to just use it to basically copy the Darklord Dance.
Yeah, and this is what I love about playing the other Darklord monsters, because we do, I believe it's the... Yeah, so we've got the one Nasten, then we've got the 3 Ixchils. Those are the only cards in the main deck that can replicate the Darklord spells and traps in the graveyard, which is really, really cool.
Yes, this Nasten is really good because you really don't want to be cut off summoning your Darklord Fusion monster, because that is the best card in your engine. But the existence of Nasten here is going to allow you to still use Darklord Dance, which is going to allow... It's good for 2 reasons, right? It lets you get rid of Googleat.
Yeah.
And summon that, which is going to be like worth like 3 cards.
Yeah, exactly that. And I just love the Darklord Legion Star so much. Like, everything it ticks the box for. Darklord is just a great deck in general, like really, really fun. But then when it got a card like this, the artworks have always been very, very cool and detailed.
Yeah.
And now you're being able to get a card that says, hey, you can have 1 spell and 1 trap as well. And these interactions are going to be met with a Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit.
Ooh, that is interesting. He could... is he allowed to chain the Elfnote here? Can you do both effects in the same chain?
He could use the Evening Star to replicate in the graveyard. I'm not sure what Darklord spell we have there.
I think he has a banishment.
Is there a banishment?
Yeah, because he used banishment for Ixchil at the start of the turn.
So it's exactly what we're going to be doing here. Replicate the banishment.
So at least we get the value of here. But it's still good from Morgan's point of view because it's like one less interrupt, because that would be able to replicate one of the traps.
Correct, yeah. So we're definitely going to be seeing the set of... I would... Oh, where do you go for the Rebellion, or do you go for the Sanctified trap card on this one?
I feel like Rebellion is pretty versatile.
Yeah.
The one thing... So Rio chose to search the Googleat, which might scream the fact that he could have a Herald in his hand.
Possibly.
It would be like a very good search if you had like a pitch, right? For your opponent's turn.
So, I mean, you still have that with the Rebellion as well. So you still get the boast of it. Another thing we've got here is if... So Ixchil is currently banished, I believe, but with the Contact, are we able to bring back... Can we just bring back the Evening Star?
I don't remember how... I think Contact's only Grave?
It's only the Graveyard, yeah.
We're going to be seeing Minerva. Okay. So,
this is interesting.
Oh yeah, it's because the previous Darklord list we've seen was playing with branded cards, so they were locked into fusion monsters. But now there's nothing locking you.
No.
So Minerva is pretty interesting because it allows you to just send more cards. So you're locked into fairies.
Ooh, Nibiru though.
Oh, that Nibiru is really punishing here, right? Because I guess we have contact.
Yeah, we still got the contact to revive, which is quite important. And this is what I quite like about setting the contact, because you kind of put yourself in a position where Morgan would then have to you wait for the contact to be activated, and if it's never activated,
you don't Nibiru, right?
Yeah.
So you can just threaten to go to the end of the main phase, and then you have contact as insurance. Minerva does not trigger because it only triggers when it's destroyed. But if you think about it, it's a very impressive turn from Rio, right? You've been hit by Ghost Bell, Ghost Ogre, Nibiru the Primal Being.
Yeah.
And
still there.
Darklords still here. We're
still standing.
We're going to be able to bring back...
so you can bring back the Evening Star.
Yeah.
Which I feel it's the best one to do because it has that targeted protection on itself as well.
Yeah, and the H-Star is banished, right? So, it also has 3000 defense.
Yeah.
So that's pretty relevant because it does not allow the Nibiru to destroy it.
Correct.
By just forcing it to the battle phase.
I mean, I think even the Nibiru token's still pretty strong, no? So you got Nastem plus Minerva. Not like our last Nibiru token.
Yeah, but it's still like 5,000, 3,000 or something like that, right? I don't remember how much defense it has. And we do not know about a final bringer of the end of times that can even use the Nibiru token as fodder. So
correct.
As like a way to transform that card into interrupt.
So Morgan's used currently 3 cards. We've got 2 cards left in Morgan's hand, plus the 1 card for being drawn for turn. We've got the ability to utilize Rebellion twice, which could be quite useful here. Sending a Gauntlet and then being also searching off of the back of the Gauntlet can be very, very important.
I would say true 3 hand traps. I think you take this every day, right?
Yeah.
If you're Rio.
Suppose the question now comes down for this on Rio is how well. If there's any non-engine engine in Morgan's hand right now, he really does need an Elfnote.
Yeah.
To really start to tick everything across.
The center monster zone is free.
Yep. Oh, Kaiju in straight away. That changed it a little bit.
Yeah, but you're running so low on cards now, right? There's only 2 cards left for Morgan here.
Yes, there's only 2 cards left, but if any of those is a starter in Medius the Pure being one of the best starters for the Elfnotes, because this will give the ability to get directly the Power Patron from the deck. That's going to be your level 1 tuner that can adapt its level. And then when you leave the field, so you use it as synchro material, it gets you to search out, special summon an Elfnote directly from the deck as well, which is really good.
Yeah, so here's interesting because we do know he has there's 2 interrupts that we know. There's the Darklord Rebellion and there is the Final Bringer of the End of Times.
So we know, yes. Morgan
that we know,
yeah,
we know. I guess he does know the Darklord Rebellion.
Yeah.
So we're going to be pitching the Google at... does Rebellion target?
Rebellion doesn't target, no. So I think it's quite important to get rid of the Patron, though, because during the main phase you get a quick vet, target monster in your center main monster zone, which at that point there wasn't one.
Yeah.
Increase the level by 3, but then immediately after the threat zone you get to synchro summon. If it's sent to the grade as synchro material specifically, it adds the Elfnote.
Okay.
So making sure that that doesn't happen means that the Elfnote doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, and we get to use the Google to get a banishment back.
Correct.
So next turn we can go back into our usual Darklord behavior.
Yeah.
So that's 1 card left in Morgan's hand. Ooh, that is an Elfnote.
That's the Tania. So this is the Elfnote that lets you place I believe it's the spell card directly up on the field.
Yeah, but that is going to be met by... Because they're not quick effects. So on summon, we're going to be sacking the Gamma CO to use Final Bringer of End of Times to get rid of the Tinia.
Yep.
And now we have a Magus the Pure and a Nibiru, but I don't believe either of them...
I think there's nothing left for Morgan to play here.
Yeah. Typhon would be okay here because it did summon from the extra twice with Minerva and that, but I don't think there's a Typhon. No, there's no Typhon. There's 15 synchros. And it goes back to Rio. So now, can we play from this 1 banishment?
I feel there's a lot to do here because I feel the banishment can get you access to your Darklord Dance again.
Yeah.
Your Darklord Dance can then be used to banish 2, get you into an Evening Star. Evening Star gets sanctified.
Yeah.
And we get you a second banishment.
We have a trap in deck, right? So
yeah.
we can do the whole thing. And Morgan might just see the writing on the wall here really soon.
Yeah, I think this was an example of quite a lot of non-engine that it did help mitigate Rio's infield, but also didn't really enhance Morgan's push on this one either.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like not a lot of decks would have done a consistent end board and follow-up through 3 hand traps.
Yes,
very true. This is one of the things of Darklord. It's so hard to interrupt. You'd think that Bell and Darklord Dance is like the stroke point.
Yeah.
But the fact you can recycle it with a different Darklord effect and then do it again basically means like, sure, you can do that.
Never ending.
I'll get another one.
So we're going to be able to set to one being the Sanctified, one being the Second Contact. Now remember, we can't activate the Second Contact on the field, but we can replicate the effect using the Dark Lord. And it looks like we're going to be replicating Dance, so I feel that Rio is going to go for the final push on this one, being the first of the Dark Lord.
Oh, there is a Morning Star.
Yeah.
So I think one of the Morning Stars was one of the discards for Naston.
Correct.
So that allows you to summon the first Dark Lord here and just deal with the whole field.
Yeah, I believe we destroy both the monsters, and that's going to be putting your first Dark Lord on 5,000 and the Evening Star on 4,000.
Cool.
Fist bump there, moving into game number 2. I think, I mean, you still have Rebellion. You would have to kind of follow through. Rebellion and the Final Bringer as well would be the direct trades for those.
Oh yeah, Final Bringer is a pretty versatile card, being able to out it, right?
Yeah. I guess we're going to see what Morgan can start to do. Hopefully got a little bit less non-engine now and more Elf Notes would be very, very helpful, or the Medister Pure to kind of advance a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I've seen an Ultimate Slayer on Rio's hand, though.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that develops. That is a Medister Pure.
Very, very good start. Like we've already mentioned, the best normal summon you could have for this one being the Medister Pure. Going to get us direct access to the Elfnote Power Patron. And quite unlike in Duel number 1, unless there is a Herald of the Orange Light and an additional fairy in Rio's hand, we're probably going to see this resolve and get access to the Synchro monster of either the Elfnote or in the level 5 we have a couple of different options here as well.
Yeah, I feel like if you had Orange Light, you're kind of forced to interact with this Medister Pure, right?
Correct,
so
yeah.
We're going to be seeing Exosynchron. That's a really cool card.
Yeah, I love this one as well because we're going to be able to send Jet Synchron from the deck to the graveyard.
Yeah.
But the idea is you just want to be able to utilize the Power Patron as Synchro material, and it's going to give you access to Tania. This means that we're going to be valuing the access to the spell card above. It might mean that he also has the Lucina in the hand as well, to be fair. But we're going to go for the Elfnote's Welcome Home.
It's really interesting because Exosynchron is a card that can increase or decrease his level based after you send the Jet, which is the only target. So you can choose what to do. You can make like a 10 or an 8.
Yeah.
Sorry, no. Oh,
no. 4 or 6.
4 or 6.
Yeah.
Because the Elfnotes are level 5, right?
Level 6s.
Oh, level 6s, okay. So I think
probably go to a 4 for a 10.
You go to a 4 and you make a 10, because there's a couple good 10s, right? There is a Fabled Leazabu.
Yeah, so the Fabled Leazabu can be quite a nice little trade-off. Trying to see what other 10s. We've got some 11s, we've got some 12s. The other one as well, which is kind of very, very good, is the Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Chenying, which could be very effective, especially when you're trying to use Darklord Dance to banish your cards.
Yeah.
Could cause a couple of issues on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the staple extract synchros. We do see it's not relevant right now, but there is a Visas Armitrara to search the Mandatum Reframing as like a counter trap negate.
Yeah.
But I guess I just want to open up this main EMZ, right?
Yeah.
The main monster zone.
You kind of want to keep that one as free as you possibly can. Just getting a question from the judges on this one now.
So the spell that it got placed is Elfnote Welcome Home.
Yep.
You can send a monster from the hand of the graveyard to special summon an Elfnote with different attributes from the deck. Oh, so I believe that we might be sending the...
So you'd send the Tania to grab you the Lucina, and then the Lucina should be able to get you the third in the Fortuna. Oh, it looks like we're just going directly for the Fortuna here.
Okay, so Fortuna...
Fortuna will grab you the trap card. Which will be very, very effective here. And they all have additional effects. They have the ability that during your opponent's turn, they can use a quick event to switch locations with the monster in the main monster zone.
That makes sense.
And each one will have a different effect. So the Fortuna will return a face-up spell and trap on the field to the hand, probably less relevant. The Tania will take one card from your opponent's hand, banish it until the end phase of the turn, and then the Lucina will return a level 5 or lower monster from the field back to the hand.
I see. So the trap search here is Elfnote Rhapsody of Madness. That while you control a monster in the center main monster zone, your opponent's monster can attack, except to attack that monster is a continuous trap. You can send a monster from the hand or field to the graveyard, target an Elfnote monster your opponent with different attribute than that one, and special summon it. If you control a synchro monster, you can then negate a card.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to make a lot of negates here, right? Because if we are able to get to Mandatum Reframing and we have this, we end up with a lot of ways of potentially interrupting Rio.
Yeah, and they're all kind of high-end negations as well, one of them being a counter-trap card. You're probably going to end up saving one of those to deal with the Darklord Dance and trying to deal with one of the other cards as well to make sure that they can't replicate the Darklord Dance.
Yeah, so you have discarded the Nibiru the Primal Being there?
It looks like that's what we've done, so we can bring back a Elfnote that is a different attribute. So we're going to bring back the Power Patron, and this will allow us to synchro into a level 7, which will be the Elfnote Synchro monster, and then this will probably work our way into... I'm hoping the Lucina. I keep saying Lucina, but I don't know if Morgan already has it in the hand.
That is it. You can first summon a level 6 or lower Elfnote from hand or graveyard. We're not bringing Lucina yet. We're getting the Power Patron. Is the Power Patron
Crystal
just someone from deck once per turn?
Yes, and then this one's going to grab us access to. I would be amazed if not, but it will give you a Crystal Wing, which is going to give you your negation.
Oh, so we choose to summon the Crystal Wing in the middle.
Yeah.
For the protection effects of the spell card.
Yes and no. Because you get one for the trap card as well, so your opponent cannot attack it. But I guess in Darklords you actually don't mind them attacking because they're all going to be quite high levels. And then with the spell card, you're going to get the ability that it can't be destroyed by card effects. So it does make it very, very awkward. But you still want to kind of try and shuffle your Elfnote monsters around a little bit to get their effects.
Yeah. There's 2 trap cards that are really terrifying in this deck, right? We know there's no fusion area and gravity collapse.
Yes, if either of those are...
Those 2 cards are like,
I mean, that might explain why the Axel Synchron has been left on the field.
Yeah.
If you're right on the... Ultimate Slayer in Rio's hand, that could be a very good trade-off for the Crystal Wing and the Axel. Straight away putting an end to the Gravity Collapse.
Yeah, and it would make Gravity Collapse that. It would also make Magneto Reframing. If it's like a hard-drawn Magneto Reframing that.
Yeah.
Pack Bit's really important here. A lot of protection on that Crystal Wing, but nothing against Ultimate Slayer.
Yeah, destruction and attack, but not target or... sending, I guess, on returning back to the extra deck.
Maybe the Exo Synchro, it has the ability to quick synchro summon as well, right?
Yes.
So it's one of those things that maybe it exists there to then synchro during the turn. I don't know if you can summon an Elfnote, maybe with the trap.
Well, it looks like we're going to use the trap card now to get rid of the Crystal Wing, which would mean... Oh, we're going to bring back... So we're bringing back the Elfnote Synchro monster.
Oh, that's pretty relevant because it means that we have 2 Synchro monsters. Now if you have a Gravity Collapse, we won't be able to out both of them.
Very, very true. So, resolving the Pack Bit, targeting the Elfnote, good choice on that one.
So I believe Pack Bit discards a card, right?
It does, yeah.
It might be good because if you can pitch Googleat.
Oh, if you pitch the Googleat...
Googleat has been going to grave in all ways over this weekend. It's been branded Fusion, it's been orange lighted.
It looks like there's a Nasten and a Jehuti in that hand. And an orange of the Herald of the Green Light as well.
Light. That might have been the draw for turn, right?
Yeah. So here comes the Tania. This is quite important now. Well, it's quite important that there isn't a monster in the main monster at the center monster zone. So Rio's played that very well to make sure that nothing sticks there, meaning that the Tania can't switch as of yet. But as you mentioned, the quick synchro effect could come up here as well.
So there is a level 11 synchro they play, which is the
Thunder God.
The Junshin, which is basically you can. It's like a Raigeki.
Yeah.
Right, like a Raigeki or Stormduster.
Yeah. So this one we're seeing going again into the center main monster zone. So can't be destroyed by battle. Can't be destroyed by card effects, and then we have the ability, as you already mentioned, to destroy all of the monsters, face-up monsters your opponent controls, or all of the face-up spells and traps they control. We're probably going to be doing the monsters more than not.
Here, a Kaiju would be really good.
Yeah.
Because you'd be able to Kaiju and put it away.
Yeah, lock that entire center zone down.
But we see the best Darklord starter here, so we're going to be summoning one from the deck, as we've seen a lot this weekend.
Yeah. So are we going to see the same play, though? Do we go for Indulged and then, search and give our opponent a monster?
Yeah, the one thing that's interesting is that, like, you can have a pretty good read. Both of those traps are live cards because the Nibiru, the Primal Being, was discarded.
Yeah.
So, like, if they willingly chose to get rid of the Nibiru, you can kind of put them on those cards being real pieces of interaction.
Yeah.
But let's see what's happening here.
I mean, you'd probably assume that the Gravity Collapse would have been used with the Jehuti, so you can probably tick that one off.
I forgot what Collapse negates. Is it any summon?
Only a very specific summon.
Yeah, I think it may be a summon from the extra deck.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Wood summon, so it's an inherent summon.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
Oh, but I guess it works with normal summons.
Yeah, exactly. So you would use that on the Jehuti.
So I can kind of clear that. Maybe it's non-fusionary.
Yeah, well, if we see that on the Chain to the Darklord Dance, that's going to be very, very impressive.
Because one of the ways that this deck plays around is like, okay, you negate the Darklord Dance, I got to replicate Darklord Dance.
Yeah.
You can replicate if you can't
fuse. So we've been able to get the Ixchil. Ixchil is going to discard the Gauntlet. We're going to allow our opponent to cut, and we're going to draw 2 new cards. This is then going to also fuel that Herald of the Forbidden Droplet and a Book of Eclipse.
Yeah, so Forbidden Droplet is pretty good here, right? Because it's a way of interacting with the synchro because it doesn't target.
Yeah, very true.
We do have to be, because I think it might tribute for cost, so you might need to be a bit proactive with the
We've got to remember that when your opponent activates a card or effect, you're gaining 300 life points as well. So hopefully that's being kept track of. And then during the opponent's turn, you pay 1,500 to tribute it and then activate one of the following.
Yeah, so basically, like, you need to droplet it before it activates, right? Because
the monster.
So then it's something that Rio might need to be aware of. But we'll see if he can push through. I don't know how much can Darklords do in case he can't fuse. Because so much goes about the fusions, right?
It's not so much the fusion. It's just getting a monster on the field that is going to have the ability to replicate, and they're all reserved for the bigger Darklords, like the Ix-Shields, the Nastens, the Even Stars as well.
Yeah, so we see the Minerva being summoned here again. There's something that's different between the two Darklord lists we've seen this weekend. I guess it is just a way of putting those Darklords into the graveyard and milling more cards, which can be useful for Darklord Dance.
2 out of orange and 1 green.
Fairies? We're 1 EVA away.
Yeah.
There's no EVA. But
that was not the ideal excavations or mills that we would have liked to have seen there for Rio. But still holding strong there, Morgan. I think they're just calculating the life point increases as time goes on, because we've been able to use... I believe Minerva was used, Jehuti and Indulged, and maybe even Banishment.
And Ixtal, right?
And Ixtal.
And so I think we pitched the Google Ads?
Yes, so that's 6, which is 8 plus 1,800 life points.
Probably plus 18 here.
Yeah.
Those cards are always hard to keep track. It's like the live twin.
Yes.
Spell. That every time someone gets plus 100 mana, or the Masquerade.
Yeah, very important too, though, because the last thing we want to be thinking is Rio calculating for 8,000 damage when he needs to do a lot more to push for the duel.
There is a lot of plays, so it's interesting to see where Rio plans to go with this turn.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the Golglet, we've got the Ix-Shield, we've got the Nasten, so we've got the level 6 or higher monsters in the graveyard that Rio needs for Dance.
Yeah. Oh, see a Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse is interesting because this means we won't be able to fuse with that Google App, right?
Yes, we won't. Yes, correct, you won't, because you obviously can't identify that it's the Golglet on your opponent's side of the field. I suppose that is the risk he was willing to take to make sure that the Curse Thunder God can't use the destruction of face-up monsters effects.
So chose to use the Eclipse rather than the droplets to interact with Thunderlord.
Yeah, I think that's kind of worth it here, depending on what we have access to.
I think there's a Darklord Dance in hand?
Yes, it's a Darklord Dance in hand.
Are we going to see it?
If we see it, I'm going to be very, very impressed.
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah,
there's a non-fusion area.
Ooh.
That is a card.
That is very, very powerful. I'm trying to feel... So at this exact moment in time, there's 24 minutes on the clock. And the reason that I bring this up is if you're Rio, you have to calculate how long it will take you. You've got Contact, so you can bring back Ix-Chill. You could then use Contact to replicate and bring back Nasten. But without access to to Punishment, there's nothing you could do, really.
Yeah, I feel this looks like one of those game states they might be better. Because there's so much follow-up from the Elfnote side.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get the draw of Eclipse if the monster is going to get flipped, and you have the continuous spell, and you have the continuous trap.
Yeah, so I think I'm just trying to think. So you'd go Contact, Ix-Chill, or Nasten. Nasten, replicate Banishment. You'd have to deliberately go out of your way to go and grab you the Rebellion. And then you have to use the Rebellion, send in the Nasten you've brought back.
Yeah, but that's already next turn, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah. This is all next turn.
I feel like the road of next turn is a road we're not winning this game. We'll need to find a way of triggering it now, but I don't see how you do that. Because I don't think you don't have a way of getting to the trap and activating it.
Yeah.
And fusing after.
Yeah.
You need all those things to kind of...
Plus, you're also going to give Morgan drawing 2 cards as well.
Yeah, and the Elfnote spell's already activated.
Actually, I'll take that back, because as soon as those monsters flip face up, technically, you've got the ability to replicate the Darklord Dance in the graveyard using the Golglet that Morgan has on the field.
Okay, that is true, because there is going to be a Google Ad. I don't know how much. I don't know enough about the Elfnote's follow-up. Rio is choosing to play on. I'm sure he has considered the possibility of doing A or B and chose to stick to his guns.
I mean, it definitely looks like we've already used the Ix-Chill and the Nasten.
Yeah.
So the only way you could have done that a little bit differently, which might have been probably a little bit better, is you go Nasten, pay 1,000 life points to bring back the Ix-Chill. And then end phase, resolve the Eclipse, flipping up the Golglet and the Cursed Thunder God.
Yeah, but there's a big problem. The Thunderlord is back.
Non-fusion. What am I talking about? There's non-fusion.
No, the Thunderlord is also back.
Yes.
So he can just deal with everything now, right?
Yeah, very, very true. I don't know why I kept thinking.
I kind of forgot about that. The Thunderlord is like, hey, whoosh.
Yeah.
It's Thunderlord only during your opponent's turn. I think it is, but we're still in the end phase?
Yeah, it's only during your opponent's turn for the... Is it during main phase?
During your opponent's turn. It's not main phase.
Okay, so then technically, yes, you can
Yeah,
use
so I think that's what's happening here. The Cursed Thunderlord is going to be used before going to the turn. What do we deal with?
Yeah, I don't see a way to stick here.
Yeah, I think you just get rid of the field, right? Just out of the field.
Yeah, but it has to be the face-up monsters.
Oh, it's only face-up monsters.
Yeah, only face-up monsters or face-up spells or traps. So we'll definitely get rid of both the Nathan and the Ix-Chill.
Yeah, just get rid of them. Because then, like, even if, like, okay, we do have the Rebellion, but what are we standing for the Rebellion?
Well, this is the other issue now when you think about it, is that we've only got the Forbidden Droplet, we've got the Herald of the Green Light.
And a Rebellion.
And the Rebellion. So the Herald of the Rebellion can't be used right now because there's no Darklord. We've got the Elfnote trap card active already. We've got the non-fusion area. I would not be surprised if that other set card to Morgan's closest to the deck is the non-fusion area.
I think it might be a second non-fusion area, right? Because like it's definitely not a gravity collapse, and it's probably not a Mandated Reframing.
Oh, I think we might see Cool Tune Rico is going to be utilized here to grab Cool Tune Mix. We're probably going to try and attempt a synchro play here, but I don't think there's any synchro 9s.
Yeah, Rico's probably considering the Forbidden Droplet here, right? That's the one interaction that like is really live in the scenario. We're going to be using it.
Yeah.
Sending the Minerva. But now, like, I don't know.
You just don't really have any. I think at this moment in time, that I don't see any benefit of sticking in with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah. There's a Google ad that's going to trigger. You're going to get a live Herald of Green Light. Because the Google ad's going to be sent and you're going to search a fairy. But I feel there is simply too much.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that the Herald of the Green Light can really do. Herald of the Orange Light, different story. But
there's no even zones for activate a spell right now.
No.
And Green Light's only, I think, is only spell activation. It's not a spell effect.
I believe so.
So you wouldn't be able to use it on the Kewl Tune, the continuous spell.
We still have the Metis the Pure in the graveyard as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's
so Ab in the Morning Star.
Yeah, this feels like we're going to game 3.
I mean, we've got the Morning Star, we've got the Rebellion, so the Rebellion can get live there.
Oh, true. You don't have to control Darklord, right? You just have to send a Darklord.
I know it's not ideal, but again, even looking on Morgan's side, if that other set card is a second non-fusion area, I would be half tempted to flip it up now just to show... Because if Rio is trying so hard to out the first non-fusion area...
Hey.
Yeah, I've got a second one. You're trying hard to out the first one, that's fine, but can you out the second one? If not... Let's go to game 3. Yeah.
But we'll see here. They need to keep the pace type of play. Because we still can trigger the Power Patron this turn when it's synchro with it, right? I think Rio is considering... He is just showing there the Rebellion.
Yeah.
To get rid of the Power Patron. But will we have enough? Because Rio doesn't really have a play either, right?
No, we've still got the elf notes that are going to allow to get direct access to Lucina. You've got Tania.
We might finally get Lucina.
Might see a Lucina.
No, is Lucina the one we're missing? No.
Yeah, there it goes. Lucina's
right, we
right
got there.
So that's going to allow Morgan to grab another one.
Yeah, okay. Now the writings on the wall. There's a non-fusion area. I just might need to come out. They're not amazing this matchup because they kind of just trade 1 for 1.
It's only if they can't end on multiple Darklords that can replicate. If they only end on one, then you trade that off straight away. So starting with Jehuti, and it looked like, and I'm hoping we're going to see this, the double wild is in Rio's hand as well. There is also the Sanctified and the Final Bringer.
Yeah, there is a double wild. Double wild is pretty interesting here, right? Because it guarantees us like another way of getting Darklord stuff.
Yeah, it also guarantees that if there is an interaction on the Jehuti, you can kind of still utilize it as well as the quick play. Really makes it important.
So you've seen this happen. We do the same play. We get our Google ads into Morgan's side of the field. And now, how do we go from here?
Well, the Ix-Chill is really good. The Ix-Chill is actually quite useful here because you could use the Ix-Chill to discard the Sanctified, draw 2 cards, and then try and draw into some of either your non-engine protections of the Herald of the Orange Light and the Herald of the Green Light, or you can start to draw into maybe some of the side pieces you've put in.
Ooh, we're going to see the card we mentioned.
Yeah, the Wild, being able to utilize that one, the double wild. This is really cool, though. I like this. I thought this is a very, very clever kind of play. So you activate this, target in a level 5 or lower, which will be the Jehuti in this example, or maybe the Indulged. You can grab your Ix-Chill. You then discard one. being the...
I think
Did
it's
we
got
discard one?
I think it's a second copy of Double Wild or something.
But are we using the Ixchew effect?
I think now we're using X-Show.
But
I don't know if they discarded.
Did we
for
discard off the Double Wild? Or
Oh, you can discard. Okay.
Oh wow, it's optional.
So
What?
like you can discard to special summon. So basically, just use it as a search.
That's crazy.
So it's cool because it has this flexibility, right?
Yeah.
And now we use the
Forbidden
Google
Crown.
to get Forbidden Crown, which is really strong as an intro.
Yeah.
Really good against Magis's Power Patron, right? No, Magis's the Power Patron.
Yeah, because then you can lock that down. It can't be used as synchro material. Could be quite useful. Going for the banishment here. I mean, I like the fact that Sanctified's on the field, but I've always been quite a fan of getting the Darklord trap cards to the graveyard because that's where you can kind of maintain your resource.
We could have discarded this. We could have discarded the Sanctified. There's a bell again.
Instant bell.
Do we have our way? We have a contact though.
Yeah.
So we do get your contact for Ishtal and use that to get your dance.
Yeah.
And that is a really cool interaction with the Darklord cards. It's so hard to stop Darklord dance when you don't get non-fusion areas.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that we do have here as an option is that usually, like we saw in Duel number 1, you hold the contact for after a Nibiru, whereas Rio hasn't been able to do that. So maybe Morgan's learnt to kind of hold the Nibiru back a little bit and wait for the contact where possible.
That makes sense. There's an interesting thing here. So I think he might want to use Minerva before... Oh, he's using Banishment. No dance.
Ooh, okay. So we're going to add...
Oh, he's just adding dance. So I guess it's the same thing.
Okay, so we want to activate dance again. So that makes sense.
So he chose to not make Minerva here before... Oh, can you activate dance again? Is it not
because Ghost Bell negates the activation.
Oh, Bell negates activation.
Yeah, Ghost Bell's that really weird ghost, the ghost sister.
You can only activate, yeah. So you negate activation, so you're able to. Interestingly, here decides to do this before making the Minerva because you really don't want to mill the other trap card because then you wouldn't be able to resolve the effective fusion monster.
True. Yeah.
So this way you get to set like a spell for follow up because I think we used both from hand this turn already.
Yeah.
And now you get to do the Minerva with both your level 4s.
Yeah, I think this could be quite important as well because the Jehuti does have a very good graveyard effect. So we already know about the Golgolette and how good that can be. But the Jehuti also has a very good grave effect that if you draw a Dark Fairy Fusion, which we do right now with Darklord at Even Store, you can banish it from the graveyard to target any Darklord card or a Forbidden Quick Play.
Ooh.
So one Darklord card that is currently banished is the Golgolette. So if you want that additional discard fodder or discard resource, you can actually do that quite
because
easily.
then you can use the Golgolette to get back the to get a discard when you use banish the trap card.
Yeah.
So
ooh,
we're
set
not
5.
Set 5. That's threatening.
I mean, very, very.
So 5 cards. We're
start
going
with the Kaiju.
So one of the replications is gone, but we still have one.
I still agree. I agree with your assessment on that one as well. Like one Kaiju is great if there's only one replicant on the field, but having 2 could be very, very makes the Kaiju less effective.
So this might be a very good final bringer at the end of times, right? There's a -1 on this. This Final Bringer or Rebellion. Just get rid of one of the guys in the field. Yeah, so that's a good trade-off there. The Midius can still special summon itself back from the grave, so that's something that needs to be aware of, and that's what Morgan's declaring now. So Rio's kind of contemplating what action he has here now. How does the Midius special summon himself back?
So the Midius needs to return, I believe it's a monster that is either face up on the field or a monster from the hand back to the deck.
Okay, so you do it, but like again, running out of cards, right? Like we've seen a Kaiju, we've seen a hand trap, we've seen a discard. So I think that leaves Morgan with 2 cards in hand after all of this.
Doing the maths on the top of that one: Ghost Bell, Kaiju, Elfnote, Medius, and the shuffle back. Yeah, there's one left.
Yeah. So and there's so many interrupts.
Yeah, so the Sanctifier just trade off that, and Synchro Overtake's very, very good.
Yeah, Overtake is good. The Forbidden Crown though might pose a bit of a challenge.
I mean, you bring out... What have we got at the moment? We've got a level 4 on the field. If you bring out Rico, Rico's the level 7. I would be more fearful of Ixchew to replicate Rebellion in the graveyard to destroy Rico. Because I think once Mix hits...
Okay. Oh, so you were using Ixchew to reborn the fusion, and then now we're going to use the fusion to replicate. So basically, it's the same thing, but we keep a dark fusion on the field, which allows us to use the monster effect next turn to get the Golgolette back. Yeah, so as well as just more volume in the table.
We resolved the Medius, correct? So we still have our normal summon. So
yes. We're going to see the Forbidden Crown here.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way of doing it, because I don't believe Morgan plays any level 6 synchros.
Is that level 2 or level 3?
Yeah, so Mix is a 2, Medius is the 4.
Okay.
Whereas if Morgan had gone the other way around, getting into the Rico is a 3 and Medius is the 4, would have opened up the door to the Elfnote synchro.
Okay, and we're going to be seeing here the replication of the pop.
Yeah.
Medius is banished now. Probably don't have a way to get Power Patron.
No, and I think that was Morgan's last card.
I believe so. Yeah, it comes back, and now we have all the Darklords, all the setup. We're going to be seeing a big first Darklord, I think, to win this game.
Yeah, I think we're going to be trying to push straight through into that. Banishment grabbing that Morning Star straight away.
He's coming.
The final bringer of the end of times.
The first Darklord.
Very, very good here. So we're going to replicate the dance.
The writing's on the wall here.
Going for the Morning Star just to get rid of that mix, just to guarantee that it's cleared off the field.
In the main monster, in the center monster zone, just to establish.
And then that should be more than enough. Very well piloted by both duelists there. Rio did very